Martha, we've been warned time and time again that terrorists will continue to strike us here at home, repeatedly. And now this suspect, interviewed by the FBI, investigated twice, but not enough evidence to arrest him. So what steps should the government take to keep us safe? Ambassador James Woolsey joins us. He's former director of the CIA and chairman of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Ambassador, Omar Mateen, I think he vividly demonstrates the overwhelming challenges that we face. He's on the radar. He's interviewed for supposed radical comments, another investigation for a possible connection to a suicide bomber. Not under investigation now, not under surveillance, yet he still carried this out. What could have been done? What do we do to prevent the next one?
I think one thing that needs to be done is the gay and lesbian community needs to realize that they have no better friend than the average heterosexual American who is law-abiding and might not like the Supreme Court decision on single-sex marriage, but is willing to observe it. Those are their friends. The enemies are the Islamist terrorists. The jihadis hate gay people of all kinds, loathe them, think they should die as soon as possible. That's why they attacked a gay and lesbian bar. And somehow we have to get across the idea that this is a different kind of threat than we faced before, but the Islamists are at least as ideological as the Nazis. A somewhat different ideology, but they are effectively their own kind of Nazi.
At least as ideological as the Nazis. You hit it right on the head with that. I mean, look. As we know, ISIS throws homosexuals off the roofs of buildings. In fact, an imam, this is unbelievable. Local television station Orlando reporting that 2 months ago, an imam who says that under Sharia Islamic law, it's acceptable to kill homosexuals. This guy speaks in Sanford, Florida, just right near Orlando.
And kill your daughter if she walks with the boy next door down to the corner to get an ice cream cone. There are lots of things in Sharia that are really, to most of us, quite appalling.
How do we face this, and how do we prevent this? Or is it even possible when you've got this insidious strain continuing and in some quarters only growing in our country, when we're told that about 400 Americans went to Syria and maybe at least 25 or more have returned, let alone the sympathizers and the believers who are, on the internet looking at this stuff?
The key people in this are the real moderate Muslims. I don't mean just Muslims that don't like violence but still want to take over the government. I mean real moderate Muslims like Zuhdi Jasser and others. People like, well, the most amazing one I knew was the late Abdul Rahman Wahid, the former president of Indonesia. I knew him only slightly, but he was an amazing man. After he was president, he formed a group called Lib for All, Religious Liberty for All, and he would travel around Indonesia renting soccer stadiums and putting on concerts with Indonesia's leading young rock star, and then teach the kids words to songs that they were writing about religious liberty. Then he'd go on and pay for it himself and do it the next night at another football stadium in Indonesia. There are Muslims like this, and we need to work with them and be their friend, and they need friends.
And finally, you would like to see this happen here, because there's got to be a voice within the community to speak out against this powerfully.
It's tough here because of the traditions and culture and history, reasons we don't have time to go into right now, but it has to be done. We really have to help when they ask for it, the real moderate Muslims, and do everything we can to help them prevail.
Yeah, absolutely. Ambassador James Woolsey, thank you for your insight and comments on what is such a horrific situation after this carnage we witnessed last night. Thank you.